Hello everybody, I hope you're all well and welcome back to Voicenotes with Jordan Theresa. Not gonna lie guys, today I feel like I'm hardcore chilling. So usually I record these episodes on a Thursday to go up on Monday morning, and I tried to record on Thursday and I was just having a totally off recording day. I hate when it doesn't happen that often, especially with the podcast, because I do enjoy doing this so much. But I find that when I talk to other people that do like YouTube or influencing, mostly like YouTube and podcasting and stuff, like everyone's sort of off days manifest in different ways. Like, you know, some people like struggle to get the words out. Some people like stumble and stutter over their speech. Some people's intonation like sounds off. For me, when I'm having an off recording day, it feels like I can't, and I feel like I'm getting murmurs of it now, but I think that maybe I'm just a little bit paranoid. But first of all, I get very breathless. I get very, very breathless. It's obviously like the anxiety kicking in, thinking, oh God, like, am I not good at this? Blah, blah, blah. But then it just comes out in a way where I cannot articulate my sentences properly. Like I can't find the words for basic things. And then it ends up being like, sort of not spiraling, it ends up sort of snowballing, where basically how are we getting into this like 1 minute into the episode? I am like I'm not actively insecure about this, but it's like, you know, one of those underlying insecurities that like bubbles up to the surface sort of depending on situation to situation. I have this insecurity that I'm not very intelligent, and I think that a lot of that has got to do with the fact that like I didn't go to university, which I know like really isn't the be all and end all, but for some reason I like clearly must have a bit of a chip on my shoulder over that for some reason. Even though not going to uni was my choice, I decided not to go. Do you know what I mean? Because I hated education. But also, you know, the work that I'm in, like my peers, I feel like they all sound so much smarter than me and are so much smarter than me. And also I think that I'm like actively rotting my brain with my phone, and it's really, I am really struggling. Like I struggle to read. I just like, my brain is just like mush at the moment, which is annoying because I'm like, generally I would say that I'm like really, really happy at the moment in my life, and like I love hanging out with my friends, like, you know, I have so much fun. But I feel like, and you know, I learn in my work, do you know what I mean? My work is literally learning, you know, writing essays, learning bits and bobs for you guys. But yeah, no, like I just feel like I can't read that much at the moment. And I've said this in my last episode, I can't consume a lot of media for some reason. Like I can't pick something to watch, which is really annoying, but it's fine. Like it truly, truly isn't that deep. So on Thursday, I was having a totally off recording day, and about 20 minutes in, I was like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. Like I sound fucking stupid. So I switched off the camera and I was like, I'm going to record this on like either Friday or Saturday. Friday I got in at 5 a.m. So Friday I got in at 5 a.m. So that was not happening. And then Saturday I was hungover. So I wasn't actually that hungover, to be fair, because it was like a fairly chilled one, as in like, I know I got in at 5 a.m. But to be fair, I got in at 5 a.m. because I decided to get the tube home, which I really, really regretted, because I met this absolute weirdo on the tube. So I was waiting to get one of the lines, and the night tube only comes, depending on what one you get, the night tube usually only comes every 10 or 15 minutes. So I had to wait, no, it was longer than 10 minutes. I had to wait 13 minutes for the tube, which I know, I know that I'm going to get people in the comments like, oh, where I live, I have to wait one whole day for the train. And I know that, like, guys, it's like part of being a Londoner is that you complain about having to wait more than like 3 minutes for public transport. I'm sorry. I know it's insufferable. I'm sorry. But, you know, I was drunk, I was tired, and I really wanted to get home, but not enough to fork out for an Uber. I clearly didn't want to go home that badly, because I was not willing to fork out. It was, to be fair, I was coming from Brixton, so it would have been really expensive. But like last time I got an Uber home from Brixton, it cost me like £45. So yeah, I was like, the south to North London Ubers are, oof, youch. But so I was like, let me get the tube. So I had to wait 13 minutes. So this guy comes and sits next to me. He goes, I'm going to sit here if that's okay. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, please do. And then he was like, oh, please. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And this is the thing about me. When I'm drunk, I don't mind a little yap with a stranger. I think it's quite fun. One thing about me, I'm going to yap to an Uber driver when I'm drunk. But then he was like, where are you from? And I was like, excuse me. And he goes, are you from Buckinghamshire? And I was literally like, wait, what? And then he just, sorry, it's actually mad. He just went on like what I could only describe as a tirade. I think he was flirting, but he was doing a very bad job at it. Like he was doing like the pulling your pigtails flirting. But he basically just kept saying that he was like, well, you obviously went to private school. And I was like, no, I didn't. And then he was like, yeah, you did. Oh, what, are you going home paying for TFL with the bank of mum and dad? Literally, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, it was the weirdest thing. And it got to the point where like he kept nagging at me. Because at first I was being friendly. But then like he kept like trying to wind me up. It was the weirdest thing. So then I just had to turn to him and be like, can you fuck off? Like, I literally turned to him and be like, can you actually fuck off? Like, it was so fucking weird. But anyway, so I got in at 5 a.m. So we moved to LA. So I got in at 5 a.m. And then yesterday I went for a very chilled dinner with Susie and Ruby. If you guys want more fashion influencers to follow, Susie Lola, daughter of a hoarder. They are two of my faves. I love them. So yeah, so I'm recording the podcast episode today on a Sunday. Very tight turnaround. Very tight turnaround, and I'm editing it myself, obviously, because I wouldn't make editor Kath have a project which has this much of a tight turnaround. So I'm going to edit it myself, which is really, really easy. Editing podcast episodes is so easy. So you're coming at me, you're joining me on a Sunday. I've never recorded a podcast episode on a Sunday before, or at least like not post rebrand. So my OOTD is I'm wearing my pajamas. No, that's not true. I have had a productive but homely Sunday. And it's been a really long time since I've had one of these, because I think every Sunday for the past like 5 weeks, I have been like severely hungover. So, and I knew that I had to stay in today because I had an IKEA delivery coming, which it was just some small bits. I got some like storage boxes to put my bed sheets in. I got another storage box because behind my mirror I keep my makeup bag. Basically, I saw this TikTok where someone said like, I did not realize how much tidying up you have to do to not live in squalor. And it is so true. It is so true. Like, I feel this in my soul. Recently, guys, I've been low-key living in squalor. Like, I would tidy my room once a week, but it would just devolve into chaos. So I was like, you know what? I need to start thinking of some solutions to make my life tidier. So one of those solutions being I would keep all of my like makeup bag and my hair stuff behind my mirror to save me from having to basically put it back in my cupboard. I know that sounds so stupid, but I just have one of those brains that like gets I'm like I would rather just make this easier for me. And then I had all this stuff like shoved behind my mirror, so I just got a little storage box. And guys, it's the little things. So, but the big thing I got a big mirror. Oh my god, this isn't the big mirror, this is the small mirror. So I've had this mirror since I moved. I've had this mirror for about 3 or 4 years now, and love her. I'm actually going to give it to dear Alfie. He literally just came over to pick up the tent for Houghton, which I'm not going to, which I had to sell my ticket for because I've got work to do. But also it's like, I've got work to do. You know what I mean? Like, I got work to do. Like, I'm happy that I've got work to do. Do you know what I mean? And also, I don't think I had it in me to do another festival. I'm like so tired. But I've got this mirror back here. It's like the smaller mirror. I've got basically a bigger version of this with like a steel frame around it because, guys, I need to start doing my OOTDs. I dress so well, and I do log my OOTDs on my story, but I want to start doing like proper posts. Like one of my besties, Faye, she does like the proper posts and it looks so good. So yes, she's influenced me. Yes, I'm copying her. Yes, if you want to go follow me on Instagram at Jordan Theresa, you'll be seeing all of my outfits. You know, should I just do my outfit today? Today is not like a proper OOTD. But yeah, no, so let me run. Wait, what should I do first? Okay, I'm going to run through my outfit first. Sorry, got overwhelmed with choice. So OOTD today is I'm wearing these pajama bottoms. They're blue. By the way, I'm describing just for anyone that's not watching. Blue and red plaid pajama bottoms. They're from Fatface, and I got them from my dad. My dad gave them to me like, oh my God, like 10 years ago. Yeah, no, because I was 15 when I started wearing these. So yeah, I've had these for 10 years and they are my favorite pajama bottoms ever. And then I'm just wearing a little vest top from Cou Cou Intimates. I've I've raved about these tank tops before because everyone talks about the Tank Air tank tops, which by the way, I know that a lot of people when I spoke about the Tank Air tank tops before, a lot of people didn't know the brand I was talking about. The brand is called Tank Air, Tankair. And they have like these within sort of like the fashion space, they have like these they're like these cult classic, really, really thick vest tops, but I find them really, really uncomfortable. Like I've tried to size up in them as well, and it just didn't work. Like the size up was too big, like there's too much material. It was like bunching. But then the size down, I felt like I was being laced up into a corset. So this is like the perfect medium where like you are a little snatched, but like I'm very, very comfortable. I don't like, because I've got quite wide hips, I don't like wearing really tight tops because they just always ride up. Yeah, so I will say this is like major first world problem. It's not really a problem. I'm literally just rambling. But so I've had like quite a productive day because not only did I do my IKEA order, I tidied my entire room. I need to change Boots' list tray. That's next on the job. And I don't know, I've like organized my room. I'm feeling good. And another good motivation for me to keep my room tidy is I'm going to be taking pictures of my outfits every single day, which means I'm going to have to keep my room tidy. Like nothing motivates you quite like I don't want anyone on my Instagram to know that I've got a really messy room. And then what else did I do today? Alfie came over to pick up, because I'm lending him the tent that I used for Glastonbury for him to go to Houghton. It's okay, like it's fine. If you don't know, I was supposed to go to Houghton, but I sold my ticket. Honestly, it's like 50% the fact that I do have so much like work to do. Like obviously I've got the podcast, I'm launching another thing, which I'm going to tell you guys about in a second. And I've also got, video essays. I've got 2 video essays coming up in September. Basically, with festivals, it's not just the time that you take off to go to the festival, which would have been Thursday to Monday, but also it's like the way that you feel after, because you've just been nonstop drinking for like 4 or 5 days. It takes a second for your brain to sort of return to normal functioning. That I was like, you know what? I can't do it. Like I actually can't do it. Glasto was everything and it scratched the itch for sure. And I've got a ton of day festivals coming up. What ones have I got left? I've got All Points East, which I'm fucking buzzing for. I feel like a few of you girls are going to All Points East, aren't you? Like I know that a few people who watch my videos and listen to the pod are going to All Points East because a few of you have messaged me about it. So excited. If you don't know, my favorite DJs, they're like my favorite. I've actually been listening to a lot of sets recently, like actual full sets. Usually I just listen to techno songs. I've actually started finally listening to full sets. And I will say DJ Heartstring are probably my favorite producers rather than like my favorite DJs, if that makes sense. Like I prefer their songs individually rather than their whole sets, even though the whole sets are really good. I really love them as producers, but they are my favorite DJs. And they make the best fucking music. Such good hard house, such good techno. And I just realized my window's open. I'm going to close my window. I'm feeling self-conscious. So it's going to be DJ Heartstring, Shy Girl, Marlon Hovstad, and very excitingly, so DJ Heartstring are my favorite producers, but my favorite, oh God, sorry, it's covered in cat hair. Yeah. My favorite DJ at the moment is Sam Alfred, who also produces great music. I've got loads of his songs on my techno playlist, which I'm going to start linking down below so you guys can listen to it because it is, in my opinion, it's very good. But I listened to the set that he did for, I think it was, it's called like Paradise City or Paradise Lost. I can't remember. I think it's Paradise City, which was festival in somewhere in Europe, Belgium, maybe. It is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. My only gripe is that it's not very loud, which obviously isn't his fault. So like in my headphones, I can't hear it super, super loudly, even though guys, I got YouTube Premium and it is truly a game changer for being able to listen to good music because so much good music, so many good techno songs are not on Spotify. So I recently got YouTube Premium, which I know sounds crazy because I am a YouTuber, but I recently got YouTube Premium and I have started listening to like new sets on my way to and from from The Office every day, and I'm just loving life. And Sam Alfred, Paradise City, is absolutely probably one of my top favorites at the moment, and he's playing at All Points East as well, but he's also playing at Waterworks, which I'm also going to, so we'll see if I actually see him at All Points East, and I've got Rally the next day, and then I've got Waterworks, so I've got 3 more to go. Buzzing, love it. But yeah, I just didn't have I don't have the steam in me to do house, and it's one of those where it's like everyone's like, God, like Jordan, like, you know, you're your own boss, like you can go if you want to go, and I'm like, I know, but it's one of those things where I think when you've got a lot of work on and you like want to go to a festival and stuff, you have to really want to go to make it work. And it's one of those where it's like, I clearly don't really want to go that badly. Like, I don't really think I've got like the steam in me. Do you know what I mean? But so Alfie came to pick up the tent, and then I cooked some dinner. Well, no, lunch, but like I cook extra, so then I have something for dinner tomorrow. And yeah, I just realized this is the first time I'm speaking to you guys post London's Big Weekender, which was so fun. If you haven't listened to my previous episodes, me and my friends, it's usually unplanned, but like once a year we'll do like a London's Big Weekender where everyone sort of gets together and like goes to the club or goes to a party or something like that. So on Friday, Herbie did his annual quiz, which was so good. It was all about rats, but like he took the term rat and it was like a real umbrella term. So what was it? So like there was like questions about rats, like has this actor or actress ever played a rat? And then there was also, you know, using the theme a little more loosely. Like one of the questions was, he was like on Wikipedia, when a celebrity dies, there's these little rats that rush to Wikipedia to change is a singer to was a singer. I'm going to list some public figures and celebrities. You need to tell me whether they're dead or alive. And that's actually a lot harder than it looks, because he said like the first one was Maury, and at first I was like, oh, he's alive. And I was like, wait, is he dead? I was quite drunk at this point though, so I actually don't remember what the answer was. I have no idea whether Maury is dead or alive. And then we went to Fold afterwards, and I had so much fun. I had so much fun. It was such a good vibe, guys. I had the best time ever, guys. I left the club at 8 a.m. I left the club at 8 a.m. Something about, and guess what, guys? I got the fucking tube home. One thing about me, I am going to get public transport back home from the function. It's so weird, because it's like, I am like I wouldn't say I'm frivolous, but like, I don't know, I'm trying to explain it, but like I spend a lot of money on clothes, and I spend a lot of money on nice dinners and stuff like that, but like something about like, I will never spend money on Ubers, like, because I'm like, well, I can just take public transport. I just take public transport then. But yeah, no, very humbling getting public transport with like 8:30 a.m. So people are out and active, and it's like totally normal. Do you know what I mean? It's not like when you go home at 6 and you see people and you're like, oh my God, what are you doing up? It's 6 a.m. You should be at home. You know, like it was 8:30 a.m. It was totally socially acceptable for people to be like starting their day like on the on the tube with my sunglasses on. But it was so worth it. It was so good. And then the next day, my friends did their Shakespeare-themed birthday party. And I know that we were all like freaking out about how historically inaccurate my outfit was, which was the princess cone hat, which I did hand make myself, which I feel like went down a treat. Ellie did have to wear it the entire time because it was totally throwing off my center of gravity. I think I made the hat a bit too small, so it was truly just reliant on like this tiny little ribbon. But Ellie like locked it onto her head and kept it on the whole night. And then I just wore her little donkey ears because I was really getting like quite overstimulated, to be honest. But yes, I don't really have any thoughts of the week this week. Really, it's been I mean, as I've said, I can't even choose a TV show to watch. It truly is no thoughts, head empty. But I have something excited to tell you guys. I've got something to like announce to you guys, question mark. So basically, I've been talking about how I've been wanting to make a sort of community hub for Voicenotes for a while. And I actually had the team over at Substack approach my manager saying that they want to chat to me. And basically, I originally thought, because I was like, I've always wanted to start a Substack because I feel like, number one, want to get a little bit of practice on my writing, but also all the cool girlies are on Substack. all the cool and smart guys on Substack. And I use Substack so much for my research, and I think that it's like a really accessible platform for interesting conversations about society and culture. Substack team approached me, but I was like, oh God, I don't really know what to do because I don't really have the time to write a lot, right? But we had this amazing idea, me and my manager, Nick. We thought, why don't we bring Voicenotes to Substack? And that can be the community hub, because Substack I would like to say I am still going to be writing on there. We'll get into it in a second. But, Substack, it really can be used for anything. And basically, I just wanted there to be a place that wasn't this YouTube channel where people could go for more Voicenotes content, right? So let me run through how this is all going to look. So I am going to have parts of the Substack available for everyone, and then there is going to be a paid subscriber option, which we will get to in a second. But let's talk about what's for everyone, because again, I love doing this podcast. I love the girlies, and I want to make it clear that, actually, let's get into that in a second. But what's going to be available for everyone is there will be a weekly Substack article to go alongside every episode that I make. So it could be something as simple as just the recommended reading for the episode. It could be an introduction to the episode, or it could almost be like a little article mini essay moment. So for this episode, where I'm talking about misogyny in Love Island, I have written an article to go alongside it. It's, again, just a little article, but also like introduces to the episode kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? So that will be those articles will be available to everyone. And I will also be talking my shit over on Substack notes, because I'm telling you, I've been wanting somewhere to yap and talk my shit for a while that wasn't Twitter. So I'm really, really happy chatting over on my notes if you want to go and follow me. So that's going to be available to everyone. And I'm really, really excited to get started. But with Voicenotes, I have always wanted to make bonus content. But again, I didn't know whether to go through I didn't know whether to go via the route of like starting a Patreon or doing channel memberships. But again, I wanted to sort of still create a community hub that everyone could still use, but there's a paid subscriber option, if that makes sense. So that's why Substack is perfect. So there is going to be a paid subscriber option where paid subscribers will get one bonus episode of Voicenotes every month. I want to make it very clear that number one, you will not be losing any episodes over on the Voicenotes YouTube channel. It's still going to be Voicenotes episodes once a week, every week, Monday, 6 a.m. on Spotify and podcast platforms, 6 p.m. over on YouTube. And I don't want the quality of these episodes to ever go down. I have no intention of paywalling something which you guys get for free, if that makes sense. So not only is there's going to be no changes in the volume of episodes if you don't want to be a paid subscriber, which is obviously totally fine. Also, I want to make it very of the utmost importance that the quality of the bonus episodes is as high of quality as the episodes that I upload onto this channel. I don't want to do any short 50-minute, personal bonus episode bollocks. I want it to be thick and juicy. So basically, I thought what would be really, really good is that with I love this website, youtube.com. I do love it. I really do. Even though we have like a toxic relationship sometimes, me and YouTube, I do love her. But there are some subjects on here that I just can't really cover without the video. See, even saying the words gives me fear, but without the videos being flagged and this, that, and the other, having issues with monetization, stuff like that. And the thing is that obviously, losing any money on an episode, and it feels a bit crass to talk about money, I am sorry, but losing money on an episode is one thing, but I think what I find more difficult about it is that when YouTube flags videos, they won't push them out because it sort of contains either controversial content or YouTube aren't making any money from the video, so these videos will not be pushed out, which is what I get a lot more bothered about. And this is the thing. And then when that happens, what I've noticed over on my main channel is that it then affects the performance of future videos for at least a couple of months, because YouTube has sort of like flagged your channel as they of posting something a little bad. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm filling you guys in some juicy YouTube tea. But there are subjects that I want to cover and that you guys want me to cover that I wouldn't really be able to put on YouTube. So I was like, why don't I just put them over on Substack and I can talk my shit? And again, it's actually not just a monetization thing or like the episode's not being pushed out thing. It is also, sometimes there are subjects which they require a lot of nuance and a lot of sort of calm conversation that I would feel more comfortable covering to a smaller audience. So I am going to be covering some more sort of, controversial stuff over in the bonus episodes, the monthly bonus episodes. So this episode, the bonus episode, yes, it is going to be about Sydney Sweeney, American Eagle, Sabrina Carpenter's new album cover, choice feminism. We're starting off with a bang. We're starting off with a real juicy one. So these bonus episodes are going to be up on the third Wednesday of every month. I'm actually uploading the first ever bonus episode a little earlier, just a couple days earlier, on the Monday, so the third Monday of August, just because I'm going to re-promote the Substack once the episode is up. So I understand people not wanting to subscribe yet until the bonus content is available, if that makes sense. That's like totally understandable. So I will be basically redoing this announcement in 2 weeks, don't mind me. But I was originally going to launch in a couple of weeks, but I ended up writing this article to go alongside this episode. So I was like, oh, hello. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let's launch it a little early. Let's launch a little early. So there's going to be a bonus. Oh, guys, we're not done. Sorry, look at the color of my squash. Isn't this so delicious? Not only is that going to be a bonus monthly episode, but there's also going to be a monthly live. I never go live. I used to go live, back on YouTube when I had maybe 30 or 40,000 subscribers. So 4 or 5 years ago. And I used to love going live. So there will be a monthly live where I will be discussing the bonus episode and, all this, that, and the other, all sorts of good stuff, but mostly to discuss the bonus episode and have conversation with you guys, be able to actually properly chat to you guys, it feels. And there will also be a group chat for paid subscribers where I will ask for, topic suggestions, bonus episode suggestions, and any sort of questions or topics that we want to discuss in the live. But yes, I'm so excited to get started. I've written my article and honestly I feel low-key insecure because putting your writing out there is actually so vulnerable, especially because I'm not a particularly astounding writer. As someone who writes, I write scripts to be spoken. It's actually quite difficult to flesh something out and really thicken something out. Do you know what I mean? And not having the option to sort of hide behind language and intonation and gestures and facial expressions. Do you know what I mean? But yes, the Substack will be linked down below. So go and give it a little follow if you want to get the recommended reading or the introductions or the little articles alongside all my episodes. And of course, if you want some bonus content, go give it a little cheeky subscribe. Don't have to. You guys know it's no pressure, obviously. But the more I get to do voice notes and the more that I get to reinvest into this podcast, the happier I am, to be honest. You guys know I love it here. I literally love it here. I'm literally thinking I'm literally hitting the gwitty right now. But today, I haven't been in a bad mood or anything. I've just been a bit tired. And I remember thinking, oh God, I'm not sure if I can be asked to record a podcast episode. But look, here I am. I'm yapping and I'm having a great time. So in today's episode of Voice Notes with Jordan Theresa, we're going to be talking about Love Island. Yeah, my dream. No, it's not even my dream, but low-key, I would love to go on Love Island sometimes, and I'm making it harder and harder for myself the more I talk about this show on my platform. It's truly never going to happen. But today I'm going to be talking about Love Island UK to be specific. As I discuss these people that I'm talking about, I'm going to try and give as much context as possible for the people who don't watch Love Island UK. But I will say this episode, the ears which it will fall best on are people that have been watching it for the past, nearly 8 weeks. So originally I was actually planning on making a massive Love Island debrief episode where I covered the entire series, all of my thoughts, feelings, opinions on different people, on different situations, I guess storylines in a way, right? But in the past week or over a week, I have not been enjoying the show at all, to the point where I am no longer watching it. And it is because of the boys. So I have discussed misogyny on Love Island before. I believe it was season 9. It was the season with Luca and Dami and, oh my God, trigger warning, Jax. Trigger warning, Jax, a truly horrid man. So guys, this is not my first rodeo. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, gals. If you don't know what happened in, I believe it was season 9 of Love Island, basically, there was just this misogynistic boys club. All of the boys would consistently pick on the girls. Specifically, they would pick on a contestant called Tasha. Luca consistently picked on Tasha. And I would like to say she did reject him in like the first few days that they were together. And I'm telling you, you know, even if he doesn't think it's because of that, subconsciously it probably is because of that. Luca consistently picked on her, and it came to a head during the Snog, Marry, Pie challenge, where basically all of the boys pied her, and it was really difficult to watch. And that episode led to a lot of Ofcom complaints of Luca, basically accusations of bullying. And also Jax left the show because of his treatment of Paige. Those boys were foul. They were absolutely foul. And this is the thing, is that I was not getting creepings of this in the first few weeks that I was watching Love Island. In fact, I really enjoyed the bulk of this season. I thought that, you know, Love Island, I hadn't watched it for the past couple of years. I thought it totally ate itself. They kept casting really boring people. I was not enjoying myself. As soon as they brought in Joey Essex, I was like, what the fuck is going on with this show? Like, this is so shit. And their ratings dropped so low, especially with the All-Star seasons. Like, who cares? But this season has really been one for the history books. It was very, very good. Being as I can't talk about Love Island and the issues that I have with Love Island without talking about misogynoir, because it's a running, occurring theme in UK Love Island. I'm not sure how it is in other countries, but in UK Love Island, it seems to be a running theme where the producers are not casting men who date black women. And it is actually fucking infuriating to watch, because it's happened season on season. The black women are treated in not a very nice way. They're picked last, etc. And it's not just, and also it's like, not only does it affect the women who are in the show, it also affects the black women who are watching the show. What kind of messaging is that sending to young black women and girls who are tuning in every single day? I think what I find frustrating about it is I just think it's very sloppy casting, which honestly doesn't come as a shock to me, because Love Island really don't vet their contestants at all. Like, there was a contestant who got cast who was accused of, I believe he was accused of attacking someone with a machete. Let me Google that. Yeah, so they axed contestant Kyle Ashman only a few episodes in, because it was revealed that he was arrested on suspicion of a machete attack. So they clearly don't vet their contestants at all, and I believe it is very, very sloppy casting. They're not asking the right questions, but they're also not doing the right investigating. Yeah, obviously I had to bring that up if I'm going to make any sort of commentary on Love Island at all. Like, production and casting need to sort their shit out. But as I said, you know, this season of Love Island has been good, but as usual, the men have fucking ruined it. The men have ruined it. So I will actually only really be talking about 2 contestants today, which is Harry and Harrison. I know that's going to be a little confusing. I do apologize. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Dijon, who is being very, very spoken about at the moment. And annoyingly, I planned and sort of like researched and wrote this episode before the past week of Love Island's gone down, which I haven't really been watching, because I think people are beginning to wake up to the fact that Dijon went in there with a game plan to couple up with someone from the beginning, in hopes of becoming a fan favorite, in hopes of winning, in hopes of obviously being successful after the show. But he sort of began to clock that a lot of people on the outside, the public, don't like them as a couple, don't like him, and also specifically don't like Meg. I think that's what he's more annoyed about. I actually think he is less annoyed about the fact that people don't like him. I actually think he's more annoyed about the fact that he chose to couple up with someone who people don't like. He was hoping to couple up with a fan favorite, because I've always said this, that the men in Love Island are as popular as the women that they're adjacent to. And I think he's realized that he's really cocked it up massively. But again, it shouldn't be about that. But he's incredibly disingenuous. Dijon is incredibly disingenuous. And again, and it's weird because at first I liked Harry and Dijon as contestants. I liked how messy and impulsive Harry was. I thought it made for really good TV. And I was obsessed with the concept of having a compulsive liar on Love Island like Dijon. Dijon was a compulsive liar. I've never known anything like it. And at first I thought it was really funny and it made for really good TV. But as the show has progressed, I am no longer enjoying watching these men on my screen. The problems with Love Island constantly go back to the men. And I know that people in my life argue this, specifically men. People in my life argue this, and I know that a lot of people are going to say that, it's just a reality show. Like, why are you so bothered by it? Like, I saw this TikTok the other day where someone was like, Jack sent it to me, where it was like, went outside and went on a walk and reconnected with nature because I've actually let Love Island annoy me for 7 weeks. Like, it's true, I understand, but the reason why this has become such a pressing issue for me is because I don't believe that Love Island is just a reality show. Reality TV is deeply anthropological and acts as a study for the dynamics of contemporary dating. The dating issues that women are having to deal with on Love Island are the dating issues women are having to deal with in their own lives. Love Island, and particularly the men on Love Island, are very reflective of what young single men are really like. If you are a single woman or you are very close friends with single women, you will know men are mad. That's always what guys, when I'm talking about dating apps and I say, I went on to date this person, and I start oh, it's going really well, it went really well, blah, blah, blah. I always finish every sentence with, but men are mad. Because it's true, men are fucking mad. And with another year of Love Island has become another misogynistic boys club. And again, I think the reason why this bothers me so much is, number one, this behavior and the fact that this behavior is condoned by not only audiences but also by women in the villa sends particular messages to young boys and men who watch the show that it is acceptable to behave in such a way. But also the reason why this bothers me, because again, it's very reflective of real life. I think that, I've spoken a little bit about my teenhood and my experience in school. But just to sort of talk a little bit about it, and sort of relate it to this video, I had a really, really tough time in school. I did not have a good ride in school at all. And, I had problems with boys and girls. But it's really interesting that when I tell people that I didn't have a good time in school, people immediately assume that girls were horrible to me, which, yeah, true. But I actually really, really horribly got picked on by boys. Boys were horrible. Boys were so fucking horrible. And I have no idea how boys have managed to fly under the radar for so long. It was a particular kind of, I can only describe it as misogynistic bullying. And I think it was, one of those things of, I was loud. I was probably annoying because I was a fucking annoying, rowdy little teenager. I was loud and these boys weren't attracted to me. And that was the crime that I committed, that I was ugly, basically. All these boys thought that I was ugly, rather. And so I would get insulted by these boys, again, in their big friendship groups, calling me ugly, yelling at me, yelling across the fucking playground. It sounds so stupid to say that, but literally yelling across the playground in front of a bunch of people that I have no arse, all of this fucking mad things. And again, it's how is insulting a woman on the basis that she's ugly, or on the basis that you're not attracted to her, or on the basis that she doesn't have an arse? How is that not misogynistic, right? So I think maybe that's why I get a little triggered when I see the dynamics of misogynistic boys club. But the key pillar of the misogynistic boys club is always backing your boys. And this is why I believe that men get away with murder so much more than women do, because there's an element of collective action. There's an element of collectivism where these boys, and I don't know why these boys are like this, but, you know, maybe it's because they have sort of low standards of who they want to be their friends and stuff, but they will back their boys even if their boys have done wrong. And that's why they always seem to win, because they will always stick together. Meanwhile, with women, especially we've seen the women on the show, there's been a lot of infighting. There's been a massive divide where there just hasn't been a divide between the boys, because a lot of men don't care about the way that their friends treat women. They don't care about the way their friends treat women. Men care if their boys disrespect them, but they don't care if they disrespect women or the women that they date. So let's bring the first contestant to my chopping board, and that is Harrison. So, and also I would like to disclaim, whenever I talk about reality TV over in my video essays, I always used to disclaim it with, oh, well, you know, we don't know these contestants, and reality TV is a very intense environment. People act in ways that they wouldn't usually act. And look, I don't want to sit here and say whether I think these people are good people or bad people. But what I will say, the reason why I'm discussing this is, as I mentioned earlier, this is what young single men are actually like. Like, this is a very accurate depiction of contemporary dating if you're a young person. Like, it's so accurate that, you know, I'm sure that Harrison has done what he did to Lauren many times in his life before the show. Do you know what I mean? But so the first contestant is Harrison. Harrison is 22. I believe he's a football player, or like a semi-professional football player. And he was initially coupled up with Tony, and he got to know Helena and then kissed her in the hideaway. Tony felt disrespected and ended things with Harrison. Harrison begged for Tony back and she forgave him. Both Harrison and Tony brought people back from Casa Amor. Harrison brought back a girl called Lauren, and Harrison and Lauren sleep together, which on the show, they hadn't been coupled up for that long. Not like, I'm not sitting here like blaming her or anything like that. But, you know, on Love Island, I will say the typical time, people usually don't sleep with someone until like maybe like 4 weeks in, maybe. So they slept together quite quickly, and it was sort of like quite like, I guess, scandalous, right? It was quite scandalous in the villa. Everyone's like, oh my God, like they slept together. Wow. So Harrison and Lauren have sex. And then not even 24 hours later, the next day, the morning after, Harrison tells Tony he wants her back, and she takes him back. So I think the reason why this awakens a rage within me is because I think that so many people I know, myself included, know the feeling of someone ending things with you hours after you've had sex. And I think the reason why it like angers me so much is because, and this is the thing, you girls know me, you know that I'm not anti short-term relationship, you know that I'm not anti casual sex. Like, I think all of these things can exist, but I think there is an epidemic of men getting women into bed under false pretenses. And I think that when you sleep with someone and they end things with you mere hours later, hours afterwards, they slept with you knowing full well that they were going to end things with you. And it's one of those things where you sit back and you question, I would not have slept with you if I knew that you were going to finish things with me a few hours later. I would, like, I mean, that's my truth anyway. Like, so that's what annoys me. It's not you guys know me. Life is fucking short, man. Have a one night stand. But I think casual sexual relationships can exist harmoniously. I am very anti-situationship, but I love a good fling. I love a good short-term relationship. You like short-term dating. You learn so much about yourself. You meet so many people. It's so fun. But it's like the whispering sweet nothings. It's like the buttering someone up. You know, Lauren had said that Harrison kept saying, I'm obsessed with you and all of this. And it's just, that's what I can't stand. Stop getting women into bed under false pretenses. And we're not done, because then Harrison wants Lauren back and he gets her back. So basically, okay, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. So Harrison then says that he wants Lauren back. Tony is done with it at that point. They're done. Lauren is dumped from the villa, and Harrison decides to leave with her. He leaves the day after, and he apologizes to Tony for his mistreatment of her and leaves. And now currently, as I record this episode in August of 2025, him and Lauren are, I'm not sure if they're in a relationship, but they're together, they're posting pictures together, they're, you know, going on podcasts together, all of that. So the scandal of Harrison's behavior was not just the flip-flopping, but it was mostly the fact that he had sex with Lauren and got back with Tony not even 24 hours later. And, you know, again, as I've mentioned, we're in an epidemic of men getting women into bed under false pretenses, but I am actually glad that this kind of behavior has unfolded on national television, because I think it's like led to a lot of people having conversations about the way that that men treat the women that they date, and how that ties into misogyny, how that ties into misogynistic lads culture, you know. And the thing is, as I said, this is pretty run of the mill in the dating scene to, you know, have someone end things with you mere hours after you've slept together, you know. And as I've said, I understand that, you know, I believe that short-term things can exist. I believe that casual sex can exist harmoniously. I really do. But, you know, and I also understand that dating is not black and white, and, you know, people can hurt each other's feelings unintentionally. Sometimes you do sleep with someone and you don't want to see them again afterwards, even though you thought that you really liked them. Like, sometimes the sexual chemistry can be off. Shit happens, basically. It's not black and white. I'm not trying to demonize people that do this, but well, if it's a consistent pattern of behavior, that's when you've got to start going, that's when you've got to start questioning, because, you know, I actually view this as a gendered issue, because I think, sorry, bold claim, men treat the women that they date so much worse than women treat the men that they date. Like, I never see a group of men with their head in their hands talking about how the women in their lives are playing them. But I regularly see women doing that, like, every day. And when, you know, these men consistently have sex with women, knowing that they're going to end it hours later, they treat the women that they date purely as sexual conquests to fuck and then dispose of, with absolutely no regard for their feelings or emotions. They literally just view them as something to fuck. And I think something that really raises, like, you know, it makes me think about, like, misogyny, is that a lot of these men have female friends. And a lot of these men treat the women that they date and the women that they're friends with drastically different from one another. And I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that that's not misogynistic. You can't tell me that it's not misogynistic to treat the women that you fuck considerably worse than the women that you're friends with. And it's like, you know, it's been a bit of an issue in my life sometimes. Like, when you have a male friend telling you, oh, like, when you're telling them you're dating woes, and they're like, oh, they don't deserve you, like, all of this. And you think, like, all these men, like, they don't deserve you, all this. And I'm thinking, I'm like, you're these men. Like, you are these men. These men view the women that they sleep with as not worthy of their respect. It's honestly giving major Madonna whore complex. And this is the thing, when you view the women that you date purely as objects for your own sexual gratification and nothing more, it makes it very, very easy to dispose of them. And Harrison's behavior, Women's Aid put out a statement about Harrison's behavior. Let me read it out to you guys. Well, annoyingly, I can't find the statement. Sorry, I should have really researched in advance, but I was scrolling, I couldn't find it at all. But they have put out a Instagram post about the men's behavior on Love Island this year, which I'll leave link down below. It's really, really good. But Women's Aid put out a statement calling out Harrison for his behavior on the show. And both Harrison and Lauren responded, you know, with the typical, you know, Lauren said that she thought things were blown out of proportion. Harrison basically said that the statement really upset his mum and he doesn't agree with it. And, you know, pulled the whole, oh, I respect women because I love my mum and I love my sister. Classic. You know, and basically both Harrison and Lauren, you know, argue that, you know, Harrison made a mistake, that he made a mistake and he apologized and, you know, they want to move on, right? And I'm just, oh God. I understand that people make mistakes, but if you consistently treat women in this way and the only reason why he's apologizing is because he's been held accountable for it, like the way that Harrison continually flip-flopped and mistreated both Tony and Lauren, it's not a mistake, it's a repeated behavior. And I'm so fed up of, why do men only consider respecting women when they think about their mum or when they think about their fucking sisters? Fuck off. Like, actually genuinely fuck off. Sorry, I feel like I can't articulate myself properly because it pisses me off so much. Like, how on earth do you think, how do you only consider respecting women when you think about the women that are attached to you and you think about the women in your life? Why don't you just respect women anyway? Like, I know this is so obvious to say, like, this is so, like, I'm not saying anything groundbreaking. I'm more than aware of it. And this is the thing, is that you know, Harrison was held accountable in a way. He apologized to Tony, and like, it's very clear that he obviously left the show under producer pressure. Like the producers probably asked him to leave. And when he apologized to Tony, it was clearly like, you know, one of my friends that worked in production was like, the apology was probably written for him, but obviously that's alleged. That's just a theory. But also like the apology was very clearly to the public as well. Like it wasn't just an apology to Tony. He was obviously apologizing to the public for his behavior as well. And that's the thing, Harrison may have left the show, but he still got the girl. He still won. Like, he still won in a weird way. So, like, not only do I have to see Harrison mistreat women on national TV, but I now have to watch him parade Lauren around in an attempt to rehabilitate his own image. And I would actually really love to know you girls' thoughts, because sometimes I try so hard not to judge women who take back shit men, but sometimes I'm just like, stand up, because this is the thing. I think it's really easy for me as a single person to like sit here and be like, oh my God, why are you taking him back? But when you're like in the moment and you really, really like someone, like, you know, you're willing to let a lot of things slide. Like that's very, very normal, like dating behavior. And you don't realize until afterwards when you're out of it, you're like, why the fuck did I stand for that? But it is infuriating. I label this behavior as misogynistic lads culture, because what makes this season of Love Island particularly difficult to watch is this misogynistic environment thrives because the men very rarely turn against each other. They consistently back each other up and endorse and support each other in their bad behavior. This is why this is misogynistic lads culture, because this misogyny, it truly would not thrive the way it does if it wasn't for all of the boys supporting each other in it. And this thing, there are men who have clearly distanced themselves from, you know, the boys who are behaving badly, like Jamie, Cash, and Connor. Connor has a good redemption when it comes to Love Island and redemption arcs, because yes, I'm going to be talking about Harry. You know, I see a lot of people saying like, oh, like I love Harry's redemption arc. Like, you know, he's clearly changing so much, all of this. I think the reason why I like Connor's redemption arc, but I don't like Harry's redemption arc, is because Connor didn't hurt any women in the process of his redemption arc. You know, he did like the typical sort of slight dating messiness of, you know, kissing someone behind the person he was coupled up with's back and, you know, switching a little bit. But he didn't do anything on the level of bad behavior of Harry, Harrison, or Dijon. And he has changed without women being collateral damage in his growth, which is what I see consistently. I am exhausted of women being collateral damage in men's growth. I'm sick of it. These boys, it does remind me of that quote about the fact that all men benefit from men's bad behavior because they are then seen as the good ones and they're rewarded for what really is the bare minimum. And this is the thing, this is not me dissing Jamie, Cash, or Connor at all, because I really, really like them. And as I mentioned earlier, the reason why men back their boys like this, you know, it falls into two camps. You know, it's either they also treat women this way and don't see anything wrong with it, or could be both, they have such low standards for the people they're friends with that they just don't care that their closest friends are nothing but destructive to the women around them. And again, you know, tying it back with the misogynistic lads culture, men do not care about hurting women because they are women. A lot of men do not see women as worthy of their respect, especially the women that they sleep with. You know, in fact, more often than not, men only feel bad about hurting a woman who is in close proximity to a man in their lives because they see women as belonging to men, or they only see the validity of women's emotions when that woman is attached to a man that they like. Or not even that they like, that they respect. And as I said, Harrison may have left the villa, but he still got the girl. And if let's talk about this in TV terms. I want to talk about this in sort of terms of what makes a TV show, what makes a story satisfying. And I think the reason why this season of Love Island is feeling like very unsatisfactory TV and very frustrating to watch is the fact that the men are getting away with it. And I think maybe if Dijon is called out on his bullshit, maybe I'll feel a bit vindicated because finally a man is not getting away with it. And I actually think this is why audiences respond really well to shows like Married at First Sight, because this show has mediators. The marriage experts confront and call out the contestants on their poor behavior, which leads them to grow throughout the series. Now, Dijon's behavior, for a while, it wasn't sort of as obviously bad as Harrison or Harry's, but these men are fucking politicians. They dance around and deflect questions. Dijon even encourages the boys to let the girls fight with each other so it takes the heat off of them. But let's talk about Harry. You know why I'm getting more annoyed? Because all of these fucking edits keep coming up about like, oh, so wholesome. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm getting annoyed. I need to touch grass. Love Island should not be annoying me like this. So this is the story of Harry. Harry was coupled up with Helena. He kissed Yasmin behind Helena's back. Helena then dumps Harry. Harry couples up with Shakira and says he's going to change for her. Meanwhile, he's still flirting with Helena. He even tells Helena that he can't wait to fuck her. Because of this, Shakira ends things with Harry. Harry and Helena couple up. Harry goes exclusive with Helena, all the while telling his ex Emma he still loves her, asking Angel if she's wearing any underwear, telling Shakira they should go on a date on the outside. And all the while he's doing this, he tells Dijon sometimes he feels like he's going to tell Helena he loves her. I'm sorry, it's giving doing it up for the screens, doing it up for the camera. And I will say, I find it so interesting that Love Island has broken the fourth wall this year, and there is so much discussion. I saw someone say that the fact that the 50k cash prize keeps being brought up is a recession indicator. Sorry, she just broke the fourth wall. But the breaking of the fourth wall, discussing doing things for the camera. First of all, with Dijon, he brings up the cameras so often that, what I think? The lady doth protest too much. Like, I'm sorry. The fact that he's consistently bringing up is because it's on his head, because he's doing it up for the cameras. But anyways, I find it really interesting and honestly really necessary for the show to start breaking the fourth wall and discussing the cameras and the public perception, because it's become an undeniable part of the show. It's become an undeniable part of the fabric of the show. You could probably get away with the first 7 seasons that people are going on there for love and that people genuinely want to meet someone. But now, because the show is so huge and because, the fact that you're going on there and you're going to be famous afterwards plays such a factor, of course we're going to have to start talking about the fact that people are going to start faking things for the camera. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so back onto the story of Harry. So he tells Dijon that sometimes he feels he's going to tell Helena he loves her. And when all of this is exposed it was movie night and then it was the Grafties, Helena ends things with Harry, and Harry begins to pursue Shakira again and says that Shakira was the only person that he wanted. And him and Helena were just more friendly. And like what he has with Shakira is more serious. And the reason why he didn't pursue her was because he thought that she just didn't want him back. And Shakira takes him back. I'm not going to judge her. She's 22. We've all been there. And it's the thing, when someone that you really like is telling you everything that you want to hear, you do just want to believe it. You do. This is the thing. He could have changed. I'm not saying that he hasn't changed. What I'm saying is that I'm talking about it in the terms of the fact that this is unsatisfying TV. But the thing is that when you're in there, not only do you have your ex telling you everything that you want to hear, you also have to live with them. Do you know what I mean? Like when a man fucks up for the final time in your real life, you do just block them and sort of move on, as hard as that can be. It must be even harder in the villa. It's a lot easier said than done, but this is not satisfying TV because the boys are getting away with their bad behavior. And I don't really truly think they're being held accountable the way that people are held accountable in a show like Married at First Sight, for example. Somehow the public hates Helena more than Harry. And I don't like the girl either, but I'm sorry. Hating Helena, but all of a sudden Harry gets his little redemption arc. Fine. Not only do I have to watch Harry pursue Shakira and successfully get her back, I have to see Harry use Shakira as a pawn in his redemption arc. in his little redemption arc storyline. Oh, bitch, I'm mad as hell. And you know what? I know I'm going to start sounding a bit tinfoil hat here, but is it such a coincidence that, I know that Shakira didn't get voted favorite girl, but when it came to favourite girls and favourite boys, the people that got voted favourite girls were two of Shakira's best friends in the villa, Tony and Yasmin. So he's obviously put two and two together and realised that the public prefer that half of the girls, because even everyone in the villa knows there's a divide between the girls, prefers those girls over Meg, Helena, and maybe Angel. The regression of Casa Amor does reflect a wider regression of the dating landscape. Do you remember when Love Island used to be romantic? Do you remember when people used to wait outside for Casa Amor and they used to respectfully get to know the girls and they'd be like, oh, I just want to go back to the girl in the villa. Now the boys just sway and falter for the sake of it because they know that the women will take them back and they know that they can still go on to win the show post Millie and Liam Gate. Yeah, haven't forgiven them for ruining the show, not gonna lie. And this is the thing, in previous years, Michael, Josh, Callum, Naz, they all recoupled with Casa girls whilst their original Villa girls stayed single. They actually liked these women more than the girls that they were coupled up with. And by the way, this isn't me defending Michael, because if you remember, Michael recoupled with Joanna. Joanna then got dumped, and then he tried to go back to Amber. And this is the thing, Amber did not take him back. Amber didn't take him back, and he got dumped from the show, and that was so delicious and satisfying, and she went on to win the show. She went on to win the show, bitch. I miss when Love Island used to be romantic, man. I miss it so much. This is the thing, is that Love Island does have mediators. It's the producers. You just don't see it because obviously, the producers, you can tell when they've asked someone, that tells someone you need to apologize to them, you need to do this, you need to do that. But yeah, it's just unsatisfying TV. Very unsatisfying TV. I'm not buying Harry's redemption arc. I'm not. And I don't care. But yeah, sorry, it's a really rambly episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Bit ranty. Went on a little bit of a rant. But I am really excited to get started on Substack. The Substack article for this episode will be linked down below if you want to read it. Just probably some more concise thoughts. Maybe I guess it's kind of this episode summed up a little bit. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next week for another one. Bye.